Caution. I'm bad at PvP and my sole purpose to making this series is to get better at it. And also it's my opinion, so don't take my word for it when it comes to rating your builds. And remember, it's only ass if you're ass. Hello everyone, today I'll be starting a whole new series in Deepwoken called Gas or Ass, where I make your builds and I test them and see if the build's worth using. How this works is that I'll be rating the build based on how good it is for Chime, Ganking, and Bossraiding. And for all you nerds out there, here's the rating system. Alright, all the nerdiness aside, we'll be using a build we got from Yap Session, where he made me a heavy ironsing X Frostdraw build, which is apparently cheese and has high combo potential. But is it really worth it to make the build? Well, this is what I'm here for. The purpose for this series is I make the build and rate it so you don't have to waste your time doing so. So be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want your build to have a chance to be in the next video, drop the builder link in the comments and I'll pick one to review. Well, let's first get started with the progression. So here we are in trial of 1. We'll be obviously going Voidwalker because yeah, it's just a useful origin when it comes to mainly PvP. Anyways, this build pre-shrine is just wild. 90 strength followed up with 40 willpower and frost draw, then 30 ironsing. This build doesn't have the talent ready for me, so I gotta figure out what to get. Anyways, I'll be also rating PvE builds in this series too, so if you have made some of those, drop the builder link below. The progression part might be a bit boring for you guys to watch, so I'll make a fire montage and skip to the gameplay. Anyways, the build is finished and it does a lot of damage. Like, a lot of damage. So yeah, it's pretty broken. Anyways, here are the stats post-shrine. And the talents if you're curious. I don't think I explained the rating system well. So how it works is that there are 3 categories, which are Chime, Bossraiding, and Ganking. And each category has a subcategory. Like for example, Chime, a category has 2 subcategories, which are cheese and combo potential. I'll be rating them both differently from 1 to 5 stars. And the total number of stars from those subcategories will be divided into the total amount of stars the category has, which is 10 for Chime, and you'll get that result. So if you get 3 stars from cheese and 2 stars from combo potential, you'll get 0.5 stars on that main category. Then I'll do the same for the other 2 categories and add them up together and see how much stars you'll get. If you manage to get 2 stars above, your build is gas. However, if you get 2 stars below, your build is ass. Are you following what I am yapping about? Anyways, we'll be finally testing this build and see how good it is on Chime. Anyways, this build is pretty good for Chime. This build does so much damage and you have limitless of possibilities for combos. And the build maker, AppC, said that you can use any heavy weapon for this, which makes the build even better, and it also gives more possibilities for crazy combos. So I'll be giving this build 0.9 stars for the Chime category. This build just has a lot of potential. I just feel like something is missing for now. So next up we'll go ganking and see how this build goes well with it. And once again, this build never ceases to impress me. This build is great for ganking. It has mantras that can chase players, which is metal ball and shoulder bash. The only issue with it is you can only chase them for a short distance. If they're far enough, you won't be able to catch up. And also, some opponents also have other mobility mantras which are exceptionally better than both metal ball and shoulder bash. This build can also overwhelm opponents by the amount of mantras this build has, which opts for more different combos they won't be expecting. And this build is pretty tanky by the amount of bloodless gems, innate HP and resistances. So this build gets 0.8 stars on the ganking category. Now last but not least, we'll be finally doing some boss rating on this build. I never expected this build to be good for boss rating too. This build does a lot of damage. And the crowd control is great as well because of detonation. And this build is seriously tanky because I managed to fight 2 opponents for a long time before dying. This is the first build I made for this series and I expected it to be something bad. So this build gets 0.9 stars in the boss rating category. This build is great for all kinds of PvP, chime, ganking and boss rating, but this build isn't meant for the depths, as it doesn't have the talents required for it, like Sunken Predator, which are heavily needed if you want to fight in the depths, and you also can't chase opponents because of how limited your mobility is, so they'll be able to run away and void if they get bell popped. So overall, this build gets, drumroll please, 2.6 stars. In other words, this build is gas. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe because I put a lot of effort in these types of videos. It would really make my day. Builder link will be in the description, and once again, thank you for watching.